There are things to talk about with Delves beyond just your gameplay. Because looking at the stream notes, we do have Blizzard adding in some broader progression for Delves in the form of meta achievements, which to me is kind of exciting. Kind of says you can, you can actually try to play Delves at a high level, and in the same way that you can do, a boss with a few handicaps and you'll get a glory achievement. It seems they're supporting that, so I think that's really positive. It also tells me something about design intent, and speaking of that, they also updated the developer notes for Delves with this wave of testing, so we can check in and see what they've said about their design goals. Let's hope we don't just find a post saying they're a bit too hard right now, we're going to tune them down in the next build.
I really hope not, because
I
had fun, and you had to try to die sometimes, basically. Or the boss are called.
Generally don't approve of that sort of thing here.
Yeah, what's the example? The one I died to loads was Spider Boy Anub Ivar or something in the Hall phone. He had impaling spikes. And I was like, oh, look at that. A swirly that, a set of swirlies that tracks. Swirly under your feet, step away, second swirly under your feet, step away, third swirly under your feet. Right, fine. I know how to do that. I've played World of Warcraft my entire effective fucking life. So, I play a lot of games.
Effective life.
Yeah.
So that's a funny measure.
Do you really exist before you're 12? I don't know. Obviously, yes. But, aside from that, the thing you do whenever there's sorties and you're trying to use trying to use space efficiently, you're trying to move efficiently, which I didn't have to because I was a BM hunter. But I did anyway because of habit. And the way it's you step in a triangle. So you go, okay, well, 1, 2, 3, and you move back onto the spot that was free. Or you can even sidestep and back free. Except the spikes stayed and knocked me into other spikes.
Oh, lovely.
So I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to autopilot my, what I do with swirlies. And then I stepped onto the swirly after it came up, and it knocked me into another swirly, and I died. I was like, damn, you got me.
You just got Warcraft.
Yeah, and then the next time it's like, oh well, I just strafe one direction. Fine, that's okay.
I think the thing is that they'll need to, because I know there's, for some people it's I don't mean to be. It's really challenging because sometimes you see player feedback that is your example, you got hit by one thing and it knocked you into another thing, and while you are sitting there looking at your character, bouncing from pain to pain to pain, you don't really have control over your character because you're in midair, you can't move. Some people see that, think, I'm dead, loss of control, I'm angry, this isn't, you know what I mean, in terms of player feedback. So I hope that Blizzard have got, I don't want to say the courage, but the difficulty, if we're going to have good gear on it, the difficulty actually does need to go up to a pretty legit level. I hope they have the courage to actually keep it like that. Because they've really, in the past, they've always undershot difficulty in non-mythic dungeon and raid content. And I suppose lately with normal raids, they kind of have undershot difficulty, maybe? Or maybe that's just me being controversial, I'm not exactly... sure.
I have a funny feeling these will be outgeared though.
Yes, fair.
Because this is very giving me the you go in with a recommended item level. Obviously, recommended item levels are usually substantially lower than people actually do content in.
It's like the Mythic Zero, when you're doing your Mythic Zero World Tour at the start of an expansion, and you're undergeared for the Mythic Dungeons, and suddenly the dungeons are really fun and you're having a great time. Because the boss fights last 2.5, 3. Whoa, hello, fly, moth. Yeah, the boss fights last 2.5, 3 minutes, and you end up feeling accomplished at the end. I guess at the very least, it is nice that exists for Delves, and it is nice that you can have that gameplay experience on your alts as you gear them up, which I think is where this could be potentially quite strong.
This is going to do depends exactly on how these achievements look. To be honest with you, because if you turn around and tell me you get achievements for doing these in a bunch of classes, I would do them. They would spark full Legion Mage Tower in me again.
Yeah.
Because I really like the gameplay of trying different classes in solo stuff. I don't like trying different classes in M+ very often because it is just bleh. I go get a group, and then like the whole M plus score and like gearing loop and stuff like that. But if it's just here's do some content, bro. I enjoy
Yeah,
that.
so what we've got here is to do all the delves at tier 8.
That's
and then
like, gonna be easy. Like
yeah, and then specific achievements for each one. So a little bit like, kind of a little bit like a raid meta achievement. That is, though, at tier 8. Now, we do know that the difficulty levels, I believe, go up to 12. It would be nice to see there be some sort of achievement reward for doing the hard modes. I think it makes no sense if those exist just to be there, be harder, but not really get you anything at all. Like, there needs to be some sort of bragging rights stuff for doing all the delves at 12. If they actually... Oh, never mind.
yeah,
I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna scroll down in the notes.
yeah. So there's
Requires
Nemesis.
seasonal AOTC type achievements. Something
Yep.
that differentiates this from the standard raid style glory metas, though, is that one of the required achievements is Nemesis, which is awarded for defeating Zekvir before the release of the next season of Delves. Zekvir then is the 13th delve. I have to assume that Zekvir is the boss.
Yeah, Zekvir
So-
is one of Xal'atath's lieutenants, and he is present in all of them, as not story wise, but as an affix in a way. So one of the things is like Zekvir's chosen or something like that, and he'll show up and like he'll be like there in spirit form, shooting things at you or empowering mobs and stuff like that, in the kind of seasonal affix way, which is very good. So he'll be the 13th delve. And that's unlocked after all of them at tier 11. So this will be hard.
Yeah,
So
Blizzard
you
is
do
saying
have
this
it.
is Mage Tower like. That's exciting to me, and we've got 3 achievements here. Nemesis, which is defeat him before the next season of Delves, getting us a cosmetic back piece called Zekvir's Spine. Hunting the Hunter, defeat him on, I guess, the max tier. Wait. Oh, yeah, and then you also... What? Okay, so one is just to defeat him at all, and then the other one is to defeat him at a given tier, which will get you Ascension Breaker as a title, and then another one is the same, again, at some sort of, maybe we could assume tier, like 12,
Probably
the highest
11,
tier,
12, yeah.
which gets you an airship customization void, which does sound like it'd be pretty cool, and the airship is pretty sick. Looks cool.
Yeah.
I know you thought I was insane at the time, but just the way that it's like your little pod thing that has some sort of wing at the top, it just totally reminds me of like Mario Kart customization.
Yeah.
Even though I know it is not like Mario Kart. But who knows, maybe we'll get dynamic ground mounts. Wouldn't that be crazy, Blizzard? So the next thing then is we've got developer notes on Delves. So this will be kind of interesting. Obviously, we've really talked about all the stuff, but there's probably more info from them. So they've said that before Season 1, Tiers 1, 2, and 3 are available. Okay. And then when Season 1 begins, Tiers 4 through 11 open up, as well as new mechanics in Tier 4 and above, which includes, as you just said there, Zekvir. So the death counters, do you know how those work?
Yes. I don't know how it works with. I think it's like you get less rewards. I think if you run out of death, if you run out of counters, I think you can still use a key in the box, but you don't progress unless you beat it without dying so many times.
That's fair and much preferable to a timer.
A timer would be dog shit. The death is makes more sense for how these are designed as well, and they've been clearly designed in mind. In the same way they were there in Torghast, it's like, actually think about what you're doing. Don't be stupid. Don't be dumb. All those sorts of things. Like, be careful with your pulls. You get some chances to learn a boss mechanic, but also like bosses don't suddenly do like new mechanics at higher levels. It'll just be the boss is the same, but it's harder now. You have to be careful. You have to do more damage. You have to maximize things. Bring your potions. Bring your drums. Bring your things like that. Will be very important. Use your cooldowns of the right mobs, things like that. The death counters it was 5 deaths from 4 to 8, and then on tier 9 I had 4 deaths, which means you're allowed 3, I think.
Okay.
So it is just a case of, don't just go in and die loads unless you just want to plow through to the end and do it for the sake of it. I don't know if death counter will. So death counter doesn't lock you out. You still finish, but you will miss cosmetics and unlock them next year.
This is all.
But I
feeling
think
quite,
you will
quite player friendly.
Yeah, you will still. I assume this means you'll still be able to get the what's it called, the Great Vault thing if you just do it.
I guess the way I'd put it is there's something about the granular antagonism. Fuck me, that sounds way too highfalutin.
Highfalutin.
The granular antagonism of the timer. Where, it's very much...
It is a
what was
constant
it called?
pressure.
No, it wasn't called Monkey Jungle. What was it called? Jungle Run. Jungle Run!
Jungle.
Jungle Run, the children's television show in the UK. I think you've had similar ones in America where, it's almost like Gladiator, but like it's just a bunch of kids doing it, and they've got to solve puzzles and, jumping things and all of that. And there's always a timer. At the very end of Jungle Run, they've got to make their way through this, like, basically, at the end of a Jungle Run episode, they have to do a delve. Like, they straight up would do a delve that has 3 puzzle rooms. And you can just, the timer, the sheer stress of the timer is insane. And I know that, like, look, just looking at video comments.
Crystal Maze.
Crystal Maze.
I really, really want to be on the Crystal Maze.
Oh, that'd be great.
So badly.
Yeah.
I would be so terrible. It'd be hilarious.
The Crystal Maze theme tune stuck in my head too. But yeah, it's like, it's very granular with, it's granular. It's pressure every second. That's the fucking definition. Whereas if it's deaths, there is pressure, but you can stop and take a breather, and you're not going to lose your death. And I think that's a fundamentally different punishment experience.
Yeah, you can literally
design-wise.
It's when you die, you go, oh, well, I made a mistake.
I guess that's the game setting and defining its rules, which is the rules are 5 deaths and you don't get whatever, versus we're just going to continually, pressure you and pressure you and pressure you with a timer. So there are like 2 ways of achieving the same thing, but they have a different texture, I think, for the player experience. So
yeah, death counters would make less sense in Mythic Dungeons, stuff like that, just because things work. That would be insane.
Yeah.
But here, it is like you have all the time in the world to like figure out how you're going to do things, and a lot of the times, if you die, it's mostly impatience or not understanding a mechanic, and then you just check your death recap and go, "What killed me? Oh, I took 1.6 million damage per tick from Bog Trap. What was that? Hover over the tooltip. You take stacking damage while within 10 yards of the Bog Trap. Cool. Next time I'll move out of the Bog Trap. I'm pretty sure it wasn't moved out of the Bog Trap. And then next time I get hit by Bog Trap and I move out of it and it doesn't break. And I go, oh, it's a bug. Oh no. Am I going to be able to clear this delve? Am I going to be able to beat this boss? Because most like rare elites and mobs and stuff like that. I am a very fidgety person in the microphone. I apologize. But the rare elites and things like that will keep their health if you die to them. But bosses and elites don't. So if you die to a rare because you didn't expect it to do a fucking whoopsie doodle got you attack, you're like, shit, whatever. It's fine. Lost of death count, can go get it. But you need to actually be able to clear a boss and beat a boss properly, which is very, very nice. So you get to come back and go, right, I will give this another attempt. What have I learned from last time? So for me, in that case, I was like, well, Bog Trap stacks up, so I'll wait until it's 1 tick from killing me and then Turtle to break it. And then while I'm Turtle, I'll run over Brand's healing potion to heal myself up, and then I'll be fine and be able to sort them out. And then I did that, and it was completely sorted. I was able to do it just in the nick of time because pets are OP. And I still don't really like them very much, but they're OP. So so there you go.
I think this is the one time where pets do feel good, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, way back in the day, I remember...
One of the best time ever.
Yeah, so I remember back, like, playing, just in Wrath, just soloing things as a hunter. And it was great fun. And I suppose it's opened up to more people now. So, right, that's good. As for our boy, Mr. Zach Veer, so they say they have their mysterious 13th delve, but he will prove a threat throughout delves, even if he's not physically there. Random groups of enemies will receive various boons. Champion the boons!
Yeah.
So as you go higher in tiers, more groups will be chosen, and they will become booners. And that'll be great for them.
Yeah, that worked specifically well because there was ones where
It worked well.
Yeah.
This is crazy town, Matt.
It is, yeah.
There is a new gameplay feature in World of Warcraft that's not bread and butter like what World of Warcraft does. And actually shaping up pretty good.
Yeah, so one example which was fun was I had no AoE whatsoever when I was running through one of them as marksmanship.
So I hear from the state of their talents.
Because I just decided I'll take everything except that. I'll take everything except that. I'll see what I can do with like my wheeling arrow and like, because you've got explosive shot is in the middle of the class tree, so you'll always have explosive shot for some AoE. You'll always have. Well, I took the serpent sting spreads when you hit a target that already has it with an aim shot, because now serpent sting for marksmanship is applied passively by aim shot, passively by kill shot, cobra shot, multi shot for BM, and possibly from raptor strike and mongoose bite on survival. But anyway, I had some AoE, but I decided to take none. Like just whatever. Wheeling out is AoE, explosive shot, serpent sting. That's all I'll need, because I'm mostly taking single mobs down with like small tiny ones around. And then Zakfir was like, when you kill my boys for this like mob pack, they will explode into little skittering spiderlings that hurt like hell.
Lovely.
And have like no HP. I'm like, I can't hit them all. Oh shit. So it was me running around in a circle with like running around a tar trap circle going, please die, tab arcane shot, tab rapid fire tabbing, trying to get them all killed in time. And that was like one thing that was just a Zakfir thing that worked for like a little bit of flavor there. And then the next, like another pack and a different thing, Zakfir had like his stand having their spared form standing there, just charging an arrow and firing it at me. And I'm like, I'm trying to dodge the elite's fucking spikes. I'm trying to not get hit by these melee boys that are running after me that my pet can't pick up because it only has one taunt. It's taunting the elite guy. I've got them slowed, whatever. I've got some CC. I'm running around in circles. And now this fucker's firing arrows at me. And it was the right, at least to me, it was the right amount of, this has just got a little extra bit of cognitive load that is fucking dodge the wrench. And I'm like, okay, dodge the wrench while also dodging everything else. Okay, sure, that's fine. And I actually enjoy it. Like this. That was like a good addition, in the way that theoretically, Storming and Volcanic are additional cognitive load, but you don't want that in Plus. In Delves are designed for a bit more to be like, there's room for more, which is cool.
Do you remember what we sort of, in Torghast, we kind of realized that there's a problem with unavoidable damage in World of Warcraft. So you just described a gameplay scenario where you were using your, patented gamer skills, TM, hard learned over 31 years of life, and you were able to reduce your incoming damage by dodging shit. Whereas one of the problems in Torghast is you would eventually, to get a good enough score in Torghast, or, whatever, you would eventually end up feeling like you had to go pretty fast. And that then turned the gameplay, I guess the timer did this, that turned the gameplay into chain AoE and just pray you kill them fast enough because you don't have the interrupts to deal with the incoming damage from all of the interruptible sources, which would be overlapping, and then the non-interruptible. So what does the incoming damage profile feel like?
It kind of depends. For regular mobs, you just do whatever the fuck you want. CC them, whatever, it's fine. It doesn't feel overwhelming. It does feel like you won't be able to do a delve that's way above your gear level, because you will just die to being shot by spells that you can't interrupt them all. That's just going to happen. That's why like Prop Paladin was very strong in the ones that I did, because I was just like, oh, what's that? You've got loads of spells? I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Because I can block them for a start, but also I have Avenger Shield, the Divine Toll, I have, Rebuke, I have Hammer of Justice. I don't give a shit. You're not casting a spell. And that worked well for that. There's definitely a case of Brand's healing and also your own ability to use defensives correctly will help you push through. But there's definitely a lot of unavoidable damage. But I guess
Bran is there, and Bran didn't exist in Torghast.
Yeah, it's designed unavoidable damage, and it's not unavoidable damage that's going to scale until you get exploded. Like was the vision in Torghast was you keep going until you hit the wall of scaling gets you. They've largely it's obviously the whole thing is the tier is scaling and then some additional stuff. So the scaling is still there, but it's not as ridiculous. It's not as, and now this spell one-shots you. at least like you can outgear your defensiveness and healing a little bit in some capacity there.
So what I do like is just their ending note here in testing is, are some tiers too hard for a class? Is tier 11 too easy? Let's find out. Good tone.
Yeah.
Good tone that they ended it with, is it too easy?
Yeah,
I like that. Ask me for a challenge.
At the minute, I would say they're a bit too easy, but I haven't played on a load of classes. More or less. I'm very happy with them so far. I look forward to playing more. I don't know if I'll like super test a bunch of them, but I'll probably at least do an 11 on like a class or two. Like maybe like try Feral, because that's my actual class. And I'll see how well it works, because Feral's a wee bit weak on some utility stuff, so I'll have to kind of get that right. But yeah, good. Not bad. Far from it. Substantially better than I'd expect them to be. To be honest, I was expecting to go in and go, slightly better.
Yeah, okay. Good. Look at that, everyone. Good news. Incredible. Just to think, maybe 2 short years ago, it was patch 9.1 time. So the turns have indeed tabled.